Start your week with a triple shot of good vibes. This is the Project Joy podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas. Thanks for joining me. And now it's time for this week's story of joy. So my joy this week is completely coming from what I'm calling the art of manifesting. So I have always been 100% an overthinker and an overanalyzer and an overplanner, and which is interesting because I'm also very much like, don't hold me down, don't fence me in, don't put me in a box, I'll do what I want to do. And so both of those things really come from this element of needing to be in control. And it's something that I've worked on my whole life. And I'm very honored and proud to say that I'm finally getting more into the flow and less about the need for control. And really it's been years and years and years of so much personal development work to just learn to go with the flow about things. And so for about the last 6 months or so, my husband and I have really been trying to be in that mentality of going with the flow. Is it like that 24/7? No, because there's things that we're like, okay, we have 6 children. There is an element of I need things to happen a certain way that has to happen. But not long ago, we just opportunities were coming up, and instead of saying, why is this happening? Where is it going to go? What's going to happen in the future? What if we don't do this? What if we didn't do that? We've just said yes. And when the opportunities come, we just say yes, and we just take them and we just move forward. And that's continuing to happen in our lives. And so we're in the middle of right now really being in that yes mode and manifesting something really amazing for our 10-year wedding anniversary in December. It's actually probably going to happen before that, but I wanted to. And it's killing me because I hate not being able to share certain things, but I can do it. I can do it. I can't wait to be able to come on here and share with you guys what we have manifested and what we have going on, because it's really exciting, and I'm so proud of us for saying yes and going with the flow. And there's so much joy to be found there when we see, those things that we want coming to fruition because we just said yes to the universe and let it happen. We'll be back in just a minute for more of the Project Joy podcast. What's up, everybody? It's Jessica here from the Project Joy podcast, and I'm here today to tell you about something that has been completely life-changing for me. Are you tired of trying to get stuff done by yourself? Do you need accountability? Are you ready to finally, not just talk about it, but do it, declutter your space physically, mentally, emotionally to live the best possible life you are here to live? Then you, my friend, need the BYOC, or Bring Your Own Clutter membership. This membership is run by my friend Heather Clark, and it has been life-changing for me. You need this. You need this in 2020. Join us. Go to declutterforchange.com. And now back to the podcast. Welcome back to the Project Joy podcast with your host, Jessica Dugas. Today we are on episode 30. I can't believe we have done 30 episodes already in 2020. It is completely crazy to me that I sat down the end of 2019 and thought this would be a good idea and wrote down what we were going to talk about. And here we are 30 episodes later. We have 20 more episodes to go. That's it in 2020. I can't believe it. So today is Monday, August 10th, 2020, and we are talking about joy in travel today. Now, this is really interesting because like I said, I sat down the end of 2019 and came up with all of the topics for this year, what joy in whatever it would be, in addition to thinking about who some of my guests would be for the Joy in Stories series, which happens the fourth or the last Monday of every single month. And So I didn't, obviously nobody, I don't think, went into 2020 knowing what this year was going to look like. And so to think about joy in travel at this point can be a little bit of a touchy subject because there is a lot of travel that has not happened. There's a lot of travel that has been postponed or canceled or everything because of the current world circumstances right now. Now, if you're listening to this far, 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 far in advance, and in advance, just look back at the year 2020 and see what was going on to realize what I am talking about. There are a lot of borders still closed right now, and a lot of even local travel that has been canceled or changed because certain things are closed and what have you. But it really is a good time. I have said all along that everything that's happened in the world has been a wonderful opportunity to reflect on different things and really learn to have gratitude for things that we may have taken for granted in the past. And you know, there's also been a friend of mine, Dan Mendelow, who was on the Breakthrough Show this last Friday. So he was on episode 19 of the Breakthrough Show. If you guys want to check that out, it's at thebreakthroughshow.com. You can see the episode with Dan Mendelow, which was complete fire, by the way. I've never had someone on. As a solo guest from start to finish on the show, and it was awesome, the whole thing. We did a hot topic. We talked about his breakthrough, some of his breakthrough moments and his breakthrough ideas that he has, and then at the end we did a little intuitive message, which was a lot of fun to do with each other. I think it was great. It's fun to play like that and have the opportunity to really vibe with someone. But one of the things that he shared on the show was that he used travel as an example of wanting to experience new things in life and not being afraid, and said, could you imagine, if you were going to go on a trip, and on that trip, you knew everything that was going to happen. You knew how you were going to get there, when you were going to get there, exactly what you were going to do, itinerary, exactly who were you going to see. And I'm talking about getting specific, exactly what you were going to eat, what it was going to taste like, where you were going to go, who are you going to see, what you're going to do, every little detail. And there was no element of surprise or wonder, like maybe it's even a place you've been before, you know, you would probably not go, because most likely you would not go. And if you would, it brings us to that topic of not wanting to, being afraid of experiencing new things and being afraid of not, you remember, so in the story, my story of joy today, I talked about that need to be in control of everything, and that comes up as well. And so I think about all of the times when I have gone to travel that I have been absolutely that planner, that I've been like, this is what we're going to do and this is how we're going to get there. And so much of it in looking back has been because I have been afraid of what could go wrong, or what, experiencing something that maybe I don't want to experience. Poor me. And it's one of those things where it's absolutely a reflection thing, where I'm looking back and I'm saying, yeah, that's the kind of person that I've been. And I can see that. I can see that because I've had that need for control. And so, and that's just an illusion anyway, because we know that, the only person that we can control is ourselves. We can't control outside circumstances and other people and all of that. And so, I think part of the biggest thing where we can find our joy in travel right now is to think about, some of the other times that we have traveled in our lives, and or maybe we haven't traveled in our lives. Maybe it's time to start thinking, I haven't traveled. What is the reason why I haven't? And
we have this life, and there are so many amazing places in the world, even just local to you. I want to make that a point too, because there's a lot of people that are going to listen to this and say, well, I don't allocate the money to travel. Traveling really isn't my thing. I don't like to fly. I don't like whatever your thing is that you have as to why you don't travel. All I mean by travel in this particular episode is experiencing something new, going somewhere new, being in a space where you have to sort of surrender that control a little bit, because you're doing that when you go someplace you've never been before. And so think about, when's the last place you went somewhere new? Or when's the last time you went somewhere new? Um, and and ask yourself, what is holding you back from that? Look a little bit deeper and saying, why am I unwilling to travel, quote unquote, to a new place? And I think that you'll find that it corresponds really interestingly, beautifully. A lot of adverbs going on there. Um, to why you wouldn't want to experience something new in your life. Like I said, for me, it came down so many times to that element of feeling out of control. And so there might be a lot of different things happening there, which, this idea of finding joy in travel can correspond so beautifully with finding joy in traveling, there's my air quotes, to new places in your life, to new levels in your life. I mean, it's such a rabbit hole of thought to go down, to think about how that could tie together. And so if you think about your reasons that you haven't physically traveled, then see if they tie in to reasons that you aren't traveling to the next area of your life, or wanting to experience new things in your life, and ask yourself how you can experience that, what you need to do, because there's really so much joy to be found in experiencing new things. And as much as it can be completely scary, there's so much joy to be found in just surrendering a little bit to the unknown, and experiencing those new things and finding that joy in travel. We're going to be back in just a minute for more of the Project Joy podcast.
What's up, everyone? It's Jessica here, your host of the Project Joy podcast and, of course, the Breakthrough Show. I want to take a moment and thank all of our supporters here at the show. With your financial support, we are able to expand the show and reach more people, with the hopes of inspiring our audience members to change their lives for the better and know they are supported during times of breakthrough. We welcome our one-time contributions to our show by sending a PayPal to business@thebreakthroughshow.com, or you can join us at patreon.com/thebreakthroughshow, where you'll be rewarded for your regular contribution with things like our exclusive community, Soul Connection Collective, merchandise discounts, fun shoutouts on the show, and more. On behalf of everyone here at the Breakthrough Show and its network, we thank you for your generous support. And now back to the podcast.
Welcome back to the Project Joy podcast with your host, Jessica Dugas. Up next week on the Project Joy podcast, we are talking about my favorite joyful topic, and that is joy in choices. Joy in choices, guys. And so it's another one of those things where I know that making choices can be scary, but really all of this conversation that I've had the last 10 years of my life have been extremely focused on the fact that all of our joy, all of our experiences, everything comes from the choices that we make in the moment. So I'm super excited to, it may have to be an extended episode next week. I'm just saying. I don't know why I chose that, because I know the rabbit hole I can go down when I talk about making choices in the present moment. But nonetheless, I will be here with you next week for another episode about joy in choices. So be looking out for that. Until next week, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you. And please take a moment to rate, subscribe, comment, and share where available. And until next week, make joy a priority in your life today and every day. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the Project Joy podcast with your host, Jessica Dugas. We'll see you again next Monday and every Monday for another episode to start your week off right.